Hi, this is Frank Schaefer. The morning after the loss for the governor's race in Virginia, we know exactly who to blame. Congressional Democrats in the House and the Senate who frittered away Joe Biden's presidency by arguing over the perfect and therefore not getting the good. Joe Biden had a plan. If congressional Democrats had passed that plan as is the moment he laid it on their desks, with no deliberation, no squabbling, no fighting between the so-called left and the so-called right, the so-called moderates, the so-called progressives, right now we would have paid paternity and maternity leave and millions of American parents on their knees thanking Joe Biden as they spent time at home with their children. We would have restored a social safety net and made a new one for children and families that would have been putting money in the pockets of millions of grateful parents. Every road you turned down, every railroad you ran, every airport you went to would be under construction with tremendous energy poured into the economy. We would have changed the pricing and structure of pharmaceuticals. Diabetics by the millions and others would be getting a huge break on the price of their drugs. We would have reformed and been on the way to reforming the American educational system. Daycare would be being paid for and subsidized by the government. Instead, what we had is Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema undermining Biden's program for selfish, narcissistic reasons that show mental imbalance and an incapability of governing. We had preening left-wing activists concentrating more on what they wore to the Metropolitan Museum opening gala for their costume ball than legislation. We had Bernie Sanders, an outlier whose leadership I respect, talking about the bills that needed to be passed, but no one paying attention. Congratulations to the Democrats in Congress. You have put the Republicans on the path to victory in the coming elections for the House and then for the presidency. You have wasted the crisis of COVID that could have rebuilt this country. Never waste a crisis. You have wasted it. You have fought amongst yourselves. You have been awful in terms of governance. The U.S. is speaking now. Virginia is only the first domino to fall. Goodbye, Democrats. Welcome Trump back to the White House. You're well on the way to having squandered the COVID crisis. You had a tremendous leader in Joe Biden, and instead of following his lead and going where the American people clearly support his agenda, you fought amongst yourselves. Fools. My name is Frank Schaefer.